I'm going to be going over the entire process of making a stop motion video. What I'm going to start with, I'm going to clean up my workspace. I've got my notebook here. I'm going to start working on ideas, building the scenes, animating, editing, thumbnail making, all that stuff. First, it all starts with your ideas. I always recommend writing down all of your ideas before you start a video so that you know what you're working on and you know you'll be motivated to finish it. Then I group together ideas and write down a time frame so that I know I can get it done on time. And I talk more about creating ideas for stop motion in this video right here. And of course, I always recommend that you clean your workspace before and after every stop motion video. This makes things so much easier to animate. If there's anything I built from the last video that I want to keep, I'll usually set that aside and clean up everything else. So those extra scenes and those extra pieces will go down here out of my way. Alright, so now that the room is clean, it's time to start building the people and setting up the scene. If there are a couple main characters I want to use in the film, I'll build those minifigures and set them aside, but for everybody else, I'll use just random minifigures. So, we've got most of our people made now, we've got all of our ideas written down. Next, I'm going to start working on the first scene. I'm going to take all the pictures I need to take for that scene and then start working on another scene. I like to take all the pictures for a single scene all at once, even if they're out of order, so that I can keep the workspace clean and not have extra scenes sitting around. Here I start by laying out bricks that I might need, setting them to the side, and then starting to build. This is a grocery store that I'm working on, and I want the doors to actually function like sliding doors, so that's why I'm spending extra time making that work. I'm trying to replicate the grocery store I made in the restaurant video, but that one was a little bit plain, so I'm adding a little bit more detailed with some green. I'm going to change the sign color. This is what I ended up with, and as you can see on the back, it looks completely random. That's because I wanted everything to remain stable, so these tall bricks on the side, that's to keep the front from wobbling back and forth. And then I've got some extra bricks in the back to make sure you can't see the background through the doors. And now for the first scene that I filmed. There's not much to say about this one other than I wanted to make sure that you could see light in the building in the background so that it didn't look like a dark room. And now I'm changing out the car to make it look like the camera is inside the car, even though that clearly would not fit, so I had to improvise with random bricks that made it look like you're looking inside the car. And of course, white bricks here and there to make sure everybody's face is nice and bright to reflect light back onto them. The next scene is mainly reused pieces. You can see I have this wall in the back that was reused in a lot of scenes. But for here, I'm just adding random colorful bricks to the shelves for a grocery aisle. Now, there were actually a couple of things I did to this scene to make it a little bit easier. For one, I made the minifigure in front walk a little bit faster so that it would get out of the scene quicker and I wouldn't have to be moving two minifigures for a long time. And since they were holding something, I didn't swing their arms, which also saved a little bit of time. So definitely try to look for ways to save time without losing quality while you're animating. This scene really looked like a grocery store, so I decided that I would use this scene to take my thumbnail for the video. First thing I do is add a macro filter to the lens of my camera so that I can get a blurry background and really focus on the subject. As you can see, I'm really just experimenting right here. I added a white brick to reflect light back onto the minifigures' faces, and then I'm adding some other minifigures that one of them looks like a grocery store clerk and the other ones look like customers. I wanted to make sure to add in the shopping cart, and then besides that, I just wanted to make sure everything was bright and colorful, since that's normally the style of my thumbnails. Now that's not to say that's how you should make your thumbnails, but this is personally how I like making mine. Then I use Canva to edit the thumbnails, and mainly what I do here is up the saturation a little bit, blur the background, and sharpen the main characters. And once the pictures are taken, I upload all of them onto Stop Motion Studio Pro on my computer, or you may be taking the pictures on your phone and that's already done for you, but I import them in, I edit them, I delete all the unwanted pictures, make pauses wherever they need to be, and shift around the pictures if I took them out of order. This may also be the time where I do masking, if I do the masking in Stop Motion Studio, or I may do it in another editing program. It just depends on the type of video I'm working on. For this video, I actually used CapCut, which is not what I usually use, but all I did here was add in all of my sounds, make any more cuts that needed to be made, and switch around any scenes that didn't fit correctly. I recommend having a folder of sound effects that you have used before or have made so that you can easily add them back into whichever video you're working on. And that about sums up everything I do to make a stop motion video. If you'd like to see the video that I made in this behind the scenes, then you can check that out right here. Thanks for watching.